you give people drinks breaks, extra drinks breaks.
But also decision making and decision making of the players who are out in the tennis. They don't allow coaching.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I think it's completely wrong, but it's something that's been going on in cricket for a long time. It's the same thing to me. I don't understand why a quick bowler, after bowling it over, can go down to long leg and have a coach come round with a drink with electrolytes in.
They usually station them at the fine leg boundary anyway. Well, it's not taking time out of the game.
It's not taking time out of the game, but it's about stamina. And if the bowler hasn't got stamina and has to have a drink after every over, then there's something wrong with that bowler and his fitness. Mustafizar is in, bowls to Jadeja. Jadeja opens the face, runs it down to short third man, and he feints to take a throw at the stumps. And so Jadeja remains in his crease. Bear is back.
I'm back. We are back on Facebook Live. You'll have to refresh the page.
Okay.
Abhishek Chopra says the bowling changes and field placings in this match from Bangladesh have been, I'm not quite sure about this as an adjective, Cronje-esque. Well done, Mushrafeh. I don't know about Cronje-esque, but I've been impressed with Mushrafeh for a very long time as a captain, as a leader.
No, the Fizz comes in. He's bowling to Jadeja, who plays it out straight again to the man at backward point. Doesn't beat him, no run.
Jeff Perkins makes the same point as long as
that's the home button. You're pressing that. That's record, mate.
Oh, I'm recording.
Over here.
As long as that means doesn't mean they were paid for by a bookie. Chris Addison, we were talking earlier about crying about cricket. I cried when I heard on the news on the radio that Philip Hughes had passed away. Such a tragic death, and he was only 26. That was a tough few days for everyone involved with cricket.
Oh yeah, and it's something that we covered actually this morning, wasn't it? Several people saying about that. I mean, when I started that discussion,
the Fizz is in bowls, and again Jadeja does beat the man at backward point this time. Just runs it off the face, and the third man gets a single.
When I started that discussion, it was more meant to be about the emotions of a particular game, whether good nor bad. I mean, you can cry in happiness as you can in sorrow.
It started actually. We were talking about the young fan we've been seeing who was crying at the end of the. And I was talking about watching Arsenal lose 6-1 to Man United. But yeah, that's a whole different thing. I remember the next day because they cancelled the game. They cancelled the rest of the day's play, didn't they? When Philip Hughes died, and they came back the next day. I remember listening to Ian O'Brien. I wasn't on Gorilla Cricket that day. I was listening at home and listening to Ian O'Brien talking about what had happened and tearing up listening. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a very weird time. That the Fizz is in anyway. He's up to Boovy, who just plays it back down the crease. He wants to run, but it's straight back to the bowler. You can't run that. And they do not, and there is no run. So he's pulled it back this over, 17 off 20. Suddenly 3 dot balls and only a single.
Well, I'm thinking this is the right approach. With only 17 required, you bowl the bowlers that have bowled the best today. Yeah. So you bowl out the quicker bowlers, and then you'll have to make a decision about who bowls the last over if it's required.
I think that's right. They're not going to win this game by restricting India. They need wickets.
No, They do.
So Rubal's got one left, and then the Fizz, so he'll bowl the 47th.
Fizz
no,
Fizz
the 48th. He'll bowl the 49th, so then they've got to find the last over, I suppose. That's just worked into the leg side. Again, this man at mid-wicket, can't beat him, no run.
Having said that, one off the other now does give you the option of bowling someone who's going to bowl the other over in the next over. So that means then you've got the last few overs bowled by Mustafizar and Rubal.
Yeah, you got last 2 overs well.
That does mean you lose an over somewhat, but you have to make the call about when you want to go to that. Maybe it's Mahmudullah, I guess it'll be, unless you want to bring like Mehdi.
Yeah, Mahdi's not been doing it today at all, as he's been bowling a lot of rubbish. Anyway, Mustafa is up to the crease. No! It's too leg-sided, and it's just too straight, and Booby just gets a thin tickle, very fine, gets 4 runs. 5 off the over, 13 required off 18. India firm favourites.
Bhuvi Kumar doing it again with the bat in a pressure situation.
6 off last ball of last over, and then 4 off the last ball of this one.
Yeah, well, absolutely. He's done well. I mean, he's a very competent batsman. It took him a while to find not so much his range, but certainly find his timing, and now he's showing what he can do. Very useful number 8 for India.
The value of a number 8.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Don't encourage him. 13 required off 3 overs. It's got to be India's, hasn't it? It's got to be India's.
It's got to be India's.
See, now with the boundary, I think you have to change your plan yet again and go with your main bowlers. You go with Rubal.
Yeah, no, I'd stay with that. Yes, absolutely. They've got 2 overs left. It doesn't matter if Muhammadullah doesn't bowl the last over and they've already got there, does it really?
Yeah, no. Oh, the India fans love that.
And even
rightly
if,
so.
and even if Muhammadullah doesn't get spanked, there's no point in bringing him on if he's just going to get milked for 5 and over.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? I mean, if they need 2 off the last over and you put him on, you bring everyone in and they have to go over the top, they'll probably will go over the top, but...
Ooh.
No, it's Rubel, isn't it?
It is Rubel. And first ball is played up to mid. Oh! It's played up to mid off 2 fielders come in.
My
and
word.
they've got through for an overthrow. Threw it at the stumps. Whoever that was. Who's that on mid off? They nearly clashed someone coming in.
Well, I don't think you can blame the guy at
No,
mid-off.
you
I mean,
can't. That's
and no one had
Misaka, I
time.
think.
No one had time to get round to back it up either. So that's just one of those unfortunate things. Really,
it was well run. Actually, I think he probably would have been in even with the direct hit. Jadeja's very, very quick.
Yeah, he was amazingly quick there.
I think that Misaka threw it at the stumps, and there was no one backing up. It went out through cover, and they got the overthrow.
Not sure he'd have been out had he hit anyway. To be honest,
Yeah, I think he would have made it. And then good change of direction to turn and come back for the second.
Yeah, no, because he'd gone a fair way past, hadn't he?
Yep, Rubel in. Oh, he's out! Surely that's got to be out.
Well, no, he's one of. He's saying
Well,
no.
Mr.
He's given not out.
Immediately referred that to the keeper. Jadeja went to flap it out. I don't know what he was trying to do. He kind of changed his mind. It looked like he was going to bat it, and then he looked to guide it kind of down towards third man. Hung his bat out. Immediately, Mustafa went up. I thought it moved. Looked like it had got an edge. It's not a no ball, and it was caught when Mustafa. As I say, he was convinced it was immediately out.
That was out. That was out.
Well,
that was definitely out. Was that definitely out? I don't know.
What I thought,
that looks-
Jadeja, he looks back immediately. You get the feeling there's a look of disappointment in his face. You think he's about to walk off. He sees the umpire's not going to give it. He decides to stay. That's the way I read that.
Yeah,
He was almost admonishing himself for the shot.
Yeah,
that's
there's
out.
a snick.
Clearest edge you could possibly
And
imagine.
that's the benefit of not using your review earlier. There were a
Wow.
ton of times they were very tempted earlier, and they would have been bad calls. But that one, and maybe the noise of the stadium, the umpire didn't hear it, but there's a definite snick there. Mushfiqur was convinced. Jadeja is gone. That changes everything. 11 off 16 required. 212 for 6, and Jadeja, the man you expect to finish it off, is gone.
Better out than in, better in than out. Better out than in, better in than out. In, out, shake it all about.
You say it changes everything. I don't think it changes that much.
Maybe I was being a bit overblown.
Yeah, well, you want host. I mean, if they hadn't got that 4 on that last ball of the last over, you'd have said maybe that would change things. But I don't think it has. I don't think they need enough.
But the limping Kedar Jadhav has just come back out.
Oh well, that's very interesting indeed as well.
Well, that's no quick singles. That's blasting
well, not
it.
necessarily, unless he's had some severe treatment and
Wow.
he's feeling a bit better. Who knows? He might do.
Was it severe cramp or was it hamstring?
We thought it was a hamstring.
Thank God his mom and dad, they made an all-rounder. Yeah, he can bowl and bat and he can hit some fours. Kedar, 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 Kedar.
They must feel that he's got more movement than he had, 45 minutes ago, because surely they wouldn't send him out at this point. They'd say, Kuldeep, have a whack.
Yeah.
See if we can get a couple of fortunate boundaries, and then we'll turn to Kedar if necessary. But he's out there.
11 required of 16. Kedar Jadhav comes back out.
I mean, 1 fortuitous boundary pretty much makes this India's game.
Yes,
exactly. And that is very likely in 16 balls, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Just having a swing,
You fling the bat at 1 or 2.
You fling it back at
I
one.
think that's
a
what
fine edge.
Well, that's what Jadeja was trying to do, just trying to run it down fine.
Yeah.
But it got big on him.
Well, here we go.
Rubel in, bowls. Jadhav works it out on the leg side.
He's still
hopping. He goes out square out towards the boundary, and the man out there fields. They get a single.
Well, I guess he's just desperate to be out there. He wants to be seeing India home, and if he feels he can do that, if he's got the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, they wanted him off a lot earlier than he came off. This probably isn't doing his hamstring any good and might not be good news for India long term.
Well, no, that's true. I mean, hamstrings, how long do they normally take? 4 weeks?
Well, I mean, he missed the whole of the IPL because of a hamstring injury, so it could be 4-6 weeks. I mean, hopefully it shouldn't do anything too serious ahead of the World Cup, but it's not ideal.
Ruble in, and it's worked into the leg side, but straight to mid-wicket by Booby. A no run.
Well, I mean, if they can get through this over, and then they can get through Mustafa's last over, and Mumadella has to bowl that last over. If with restricted movement coming, he's got to throw it up there. Has need to try and, if he gets to bowl at Kedar, if it goes that far, because he wants to get him to stretch.
I think Boovy's going to want to take a single off one of these two.
Yeah. Ruble is up to the crease, bowls. And Booby just knocks it down square on the offside. There's a man at point nose up, well up inside the circle, and there ain't no run.
No, we know how costly a final ball of an over can be.
Yes.
We saw it just a moment or two ago, and Ruble has really got to concentrate here on his last ball. He's won a really good spell. 9.5 overs, 2 for 25. He's done his bit for sure. All for shizzle.
All for chisel, absolutely. Well, Booby's going to face up. Just don't shove it down the leg side. And he doesn't. He bungs it straight and true and full. Long on will come round the field. They will get a single. Booby will retain the strike. It's probably the wise thing. He's been out there, even though Jadav's on 20. He's coming back out to being retired earlier. So Booby's eyes in. He's in the swing of things. He's hit 6 and a 4 in the last 2 overs, or 3 overs.
Mercy Jazz says things you expect to hear on Gorilla Cricket number 128. I was just getting a bit over dramatic. Hashtag Gorilla Quotes, hashtag the bear gets excited. And just before that, once more the bear is convinced he's out LBW. Does that mean it pitched on the cut portion of the strip?
Fuck off, the lot of you.
Jeff Perkins says the batting Mehedi, the batting all-rounder, is playing today, not Mehedi the bowler.
Yeah, he's not bowled well today at all, and he's been
having bowled pretty well through the whole tournament. And Jeff Perkins also says Kedar Jadhav was supposed to get a special drink with his medicine in it while he was off, but some idiot took it out to the middle instead.
Akib Dadan says, I love you. I hope that means us.
Yeah.
Raju Simar says, I love my India. And they're coming through at a rate on Crick Tracker.
Oh, look, it's broken the 7 million on Hotstar.
Oh, it is. They're flooding in at the moment, I tell you. We're doing well on the commentary here at the moment.
The eyes of the world are on Dubai.
Asia Cup India says Vijaya Raghavendra.
And the ears of the world are on Sydenham.
It's true. It's a happening place. It's Mustafa to bowl his last over.
12 runs required. 9 runs required off 12 balls, actually. And the Fizz, who has 1 for 35, is going to bowl his 9th over. This is a 49th over. Who is going to bowl the last over? The Fizz is in.
Oh,
flash that! Oh, God. Yes, he has gone! Booby Kumar, I thought he'd got something on, but someone seems to be appealing. When Mustafa was lying on the ground, he's flashed that one wide outside the off stump. Booby's got a snick through to Mustafa. He's held it, he's thrown it up in the air. India, 1 4 for 7, 9 required off 11 balls, and an injured man. Wow.
Well, also, I have to say, you've got to give credit to Mushfiqur as well. He's just for a few moments, about 20 minutes ago, he seemed to be losing concentration, but he's now picked up these. He's taken these catches. That wasn't the easiest of catches. He had to dive away to his right to grab it, and it was travelling. So great work from him as well.
2 wickets left, 9 runs required. Could it get much closer?
Well, it's 3 wickets, isn't it? Because Yadav has come back out. So. Technically 3 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav, Bumrah and Chahal. Kuldeep Yadav will be the next man in, I presume.
He can hit a long ball.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. I mean, it's just bat on ball. Yeah. It's just bat on ball and try and find a gap. And maybe Kedar Jadhav has a swing at one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bangladesh got to have the field up here, haven't you? You've got to have 6 inside the circle.
You've also got to say, I suppose this is something for after the game in a way, if India have won it, and you just say, Bangladesh weren't that far away. If they could just done a little better. I mean, they didn't need to do a lot better. But having been 120 for no wicket, being bowled out for 222, you just think to yourself, if they've got to 235, 235.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly not that easy to bat. They got off to a bit of a flyer, but it's proved as soon as the ball's got a little bit soft, it's proved very difficult to score. Kuldeep Yadav has an average of 13 and a strike rate of 50. It's not going to get him home. He's going to face up to the Fizz. He's just taken his 2nd wicket, and a vital wicket it was in a 48th over. 11 balls left. He's up to the crease now. Bowls, and he gets inside edge. Goes out square on the leg side. A bit of a misfield to get through for the single.
Yeah, it was a thick inside edge, wasn't it? This is Kuldeep's jingle.
I thought that Kuldeep was science fiction until I saw him today. Now that Yadav is my addiction. I've thrown all that rat junk away.
It was quite clever, really, because he pushed it a little bit wider, didn't he? Tempted
Yeah.
him. But he had to reach just enough that he didn't get it.
Yeah, I think just Bangladesh are just going to regret just pushing on to get those few extra runs. Every run is valuable, and of course they left 9 balls unbowled, didn't they? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
9 balls they could have done with. 9 more runs might have been the significant factor.
Indeed. The Fizz is in, bowls to Jadav, who plays it square on the offside. Fielder comes in, feels no run. Wicket 1 dot this over. 9 balls left, 8 runs required. There's some very tense Indian fans, there's very tense Bangladeshi fans.
Prayers are being offered to various gods.
You know, and hats off in the end to Bangladesh, no matter what happens, because at 2-2-3 you thought India were going to cruise this.
Yeah, particularly the way it ended, losing those wickets. So losing, what was it, 10 for 100 or whatever.
Yeah, and all the momentum going to India, really.
The Fizz is in. Jadav tries to work it down a third man. He's on a dodgy leg, so he can't run the quickest of singles, and he plays that straight to point.
He was trying to come down the ground and try and manoeuvre something, but Mustafa Zood held his nerve.
Yeah. And that's the trouble when the ball isn't coming on quite so well, and you are trying to manoeuvre it down to third man. You haven't got the pace on the ball to do that. Sometimes it's much more difficult to play that subtle kind of shot.
And because he can't stretch, he has to do everything with his hands.
Well,
it's going to come down. If there's
it's
2 more
coming
balls
down.
here,
Who's bowling the last over?
Well, it's got to be Mamadullah, isn't it?
It's got to be Mamadullah. The Fizz is in. Jadav again tries to work it, and Kuldeep races down trying to get the single. Kuldeep just can't do it. It's straight to the man. He would have been run out, and there's no run.
Ajada can't even swing.
No. Well, he's to be fair to the Fizz, he's bowling a very good tight line, isn't it? It's difficult to free your hands at that line.
Yeah, Mustafa Zood has been very impressive in this tournament. Bowling at the death in particular.
Yeah, he's come back well in this tournament. I think he had struggled a little bit at times.
He had a really bad Champions Trophy. He only took 1 wicket in the whole tournament and a huge average. But that is increasingly looking like a blip on what's been an impressive career so far.
Yeah, it's re-established his reputation. I think
he hasn't really played in these conditions that much. He knows these conditions much better, doesn't he? The Fizz is in, bowls, and it's hit by Jadav, and is that going to make it to the boundary? No, it's not. Oh, but it's still misfielded. Well, they'll probably only get 1 though, because he's going to still hobble back for 2.
Mushfiqur's absolutely furious with the man down there. He really ought to have picked that up cleanly, and he might have been able to save the second there. As it was, he sort of rebounded off him, and that allowed them to come through for the second.
Well, exactly, especially with an injured man.
Yeah, I think, given how easily Jadav made that, I suspect they would have made it anyway. Because if he's able to...
Yeah,
but every little... Yeah, it doesn't help.
Well, I certainly think if you're injured and you've got the adrenaline flowing, that you might forget the injury for a little while and just come back because you think you've got to, and because it's pumping through your veins at that point. He wasn't running furiously, it has to be said. Anyway, it's gone down to the last over, and they need 6 off the last over. And it is probably going to be Mamadullah, isn't it? I don't know who else they can turn to, really, apart from Mahdi Hassan. And he's bowled poorly today.
Oh, no, Soumya. What?
Soumya Sarkar is going to bowl the last over. What the fuck?
The man that we know is now named Soft Government. It's going to have to do it the hard way.
Soft Power is going to do it the hard way.
Right arm medium dob is what we've got.
This is not wise, surely.
This is a hell of a hunch if this works.
This is a real bloody hunch. And the guy hasn't bowled over all day.
He actually bowled pretty well against Pakistan.
He did bowl pretty well, but his first over wasn't very good.
Let's get his jingle in. He's only going to have 1 over. Not even as many or as much as that, maybe. This is his jingle. There's 11 seconds of it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what he must be feeling in his brain. That's directly from the brain of Soumya Sarkar.
That sounds like panic to me.
Have they changed their minds here?
Yes.
I think
maybe that was a ruse. That was a ruse.
It looks like Mehdi's coming.
Is it Mahdi?
No, it's Mamadullah.
It is Mamadullah. Oh, you tease, you tease.
Mamadullah, here I go again. My, yet another 100.
So what happened there? Did he just change his mind, Mortaza? Did he
He sort
take some advice from someone else.
I think he's got us in his ear. He's going, why are you bowling a man who's not bowled the entire game?
I mean, I don't mind necessarily if he has confidence in Soumya and Soumya has confidence in himself.
Soumya is really a part-time bowler. He really is a proper part-time bowler. You don't give them the last over in an important game to a really part-time bowler.
Evil Scooters is giving us thanks. Surely you're not leaving now. Chris Dealey says, tune into Guerrilla Cricket for the denouement of this game. Cricketing View says, thinking every batsman is out is the most noble bias in the game. I support it fully. Batsmen are overrated, over man of the match, show ponies. Bowlers are the real workers.
Who's that from?
Cricketing View.
Oh, okay.
Jolien says, can I please have a shout out for a friend who's passing kidney stones that have been blitzed by laser? There's a great sense of relief. I know you know about these things.
Raja Hassan is saying, India v Bangladesh, goosebumps.
Well, of course, if 5 runs a score, we get a super over.
Oh, I do hope so.
Let's go for 5 runs for a super over.
That would be a fitting end, I think, to this competition.
It would indeed. So, Mahmudullah, first ball, last over to Kuldeep. Drives it up past cover. They'll come through for an easy single. That's all they have to do all over. I'd bring people up, surely, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Certainly after 3 balls,
he's really got to throw this up at high. He's got to give this air.
Well, Jadav's an actual batsman, isn't he? No, he could slaughter.
Yeah, but he can't move. He can't run down the wicket. If you can get the length right, if you can get some dip on the ball, you've got a chance here. You've got a man back. You've got a long on and a long off, presumably.
Yeah. You've only got one man on the leg side.
He's turning it into him. Do you bring in someone in a catching position?
Well, that would be brave. That would be very brave. He brought in a short leg, for example. Yeah.
Or a sort of short catching mid-wicket.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to get Kuldeep.
Or even a
strike.
Even a slip.
No, I'd rather have a man at short mid-wicket.
I want more people in the bloody circle. They're giving, and maybe they're just giving him one.
You can't give him one. It's 5 off 5.
Well, yeah, that's what you thought, but that's what they're doing. As that's clipped out to the leg side.
That was quite nicely played.
It was quite nicely played, but he's a batsman. It's clipped out square on the leg side. The man on the 45 on a single comes in fields. 4 runs, required a 4 balls. Bloody hell, this is tense. India 219 for 7. An injured Jadav is out there with Kuldeep. He's just come out as Bhuvi Kumar was caught behind in a previous over.
It looks like Mushfiqur's the man who's more or less directing the field out there, and of course he is the captain in
there's a fucking massive great gap though there. You can't have that swung. That could be it. That could be out. It could be it. Oh no, it's gone out to cow corner. Swung at by Kuldeep as a length ball. They are going to come back for 2. I thought he got enough of that to take it over the boundary. 2 required of 3 balls.
Yeah, well, now
the man at mid-wicket was up. I don't mind that. It was well played by Kuldeep. You can't have him everywhere.
No.
Well, you do what you did. Afghanistan did to
the
India.
Other day.
Yeah, you bring practically everyone in. You leave a deep mid-wicket, maybe one other out.
Yeah.
And you try to cut off every other single that you
can. Bowl
it
really slow, hold it back, try and tempt him to do something stupid.
Indeed.
There's 2 off 3 balls, isn't it?
2 off 3 balls, yeah. Kuldeep is going, yeah, just chill, man. It's going to be fine. I'm good.
I think the Indians are beginning to believe. I think the Indian fans have begun to believe. They've had their moments of anxiety and angst in this innings.
Mahmudullah is at the end of it. He comes in now to deliver around the wicket flat, and it's driven out to the offside, but there is a cover. There is no run. 2 required of 2. Oh my god.
Well, how funny is that? Mahmudullah produces the Kedar Jadav special with a round arm piece of filth that basically doesn't bounce.
Well, he slung it in.
He slung it. Yes, absolutely.
But it was so full. It was almost a Yorker.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was very good thinking from Mahmudullah. 2 off 2.
I'd try that ball again if I was him.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing up another man inside the circle mid-on.
I think you're wrong with Kuldeep. If you float it up, he's going to have he's more likely to have a swing and get away with it.
The long off.
I think you bowl flat and dart at Kuldeep.
I think that just gives him the easy single.
Oh,
it doesn't. It's gone off the legs. They've gone for the leg bye. There's a throw at the stumps. There's a big attempted heave by Kuldeep. It came off his pad, went out behind square on the offside. They came through for the leg bye. Mushfiqur picked it up and tried to aim at the stumps. I think Jadav still would have been in. He set off straight away.
Scores a level.
They go through.
You couldn't ask for a better end to the tournament.
What was curious about Mahmudullah, he also bowled that a long way back. He didn't actually use the crease.
You can't bowl a no ball in these circumstances.
Yeah. Absolutely, but he was behind. He was behind the.
But I think that's fine.
Right now, I think you got to have everyone.
You have everyone up.
Apart from one out.
No, I'd have everyone up.
Well, that's what he did the other day against.
Leave out your deep mid wicket.
Yeah, but this isn't Jadeja we're talking about.
No, it's true, but he's a lefty. It's Kuldeep.
No, Jadav's on strike. He's
Jadav's
right-handed.
on strike. Yeah, he is on strike. Yeah.
Everyone's in. I
2,
wouldn't
3,
come.
4.
Would he come that tight? Maybe.
Yeah, I'll come that time.
I think they've got one out. I can only count 8 fielders.
Well, in that case, they probably have got one out. Where he is, we don't know.
One needed to win the Asia Cup for India. If Bangladesh take a wicket, it goes to a super over.
Oh,
Yeah.
we like that. Come on.
Come on, super
Bangladesh.
over. Mahmudullah is in.
Oh.
And he drops the ball as he delivers. He was
Just to add to the
seeing,
tension.
just seeing if Kuldeep was going to... I think he was thinking about a man-cad.
I think he was thinking about warning him, certainly, yes. I just think there was a way of...
Mankad to force a super over.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, there'd still be a ball left, wouldn't there, even if he did take the bails off.
Jadav. It's down the leg side. Oh, no. He darted it
What
into
a
the
game.
pads. I think he missed it. I think it came off the pads, ran down towards a very fine leg. The man was up there. It probably whittled away to the boundary. It doesn't really matter. They ran the single. India win on the last ball of the Asia Cup final by 3 wickets. An absolutely thrilling game, which when Bangladesh, to be fair, were all out for 2-2-2, didn't seem likely. India got off to a fine start and all seemed to be going rosy. The wickets started to fall and slowly they came back into it. It hasn't been an easy wicket to bat on as the ball's got older, has it? It's just got really slow and difficult. The fielders were able to stop the singles from being scored on both sides, and we're quite used to India being very good at rotating the strike, and even they struggled. So turned out to be an absolutely cracking final. Feel a bit sorry for Bangladesh. India probably worthy winners.
Well, I think you're right.
If you look at tournament play
yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
if you look back through the tournament, you have to say India by far the best team. Some of the best cricket's been played by Afghanistan, who unfortunately couldn't go further than the Super Fours. Bangladesh have had their moments, definitely. And, well, if you look at it now, I suppose that India's chase would have been slightly different. But you just think if Bangladesh could have pushed on to 230, victory could have been theirs. You've always got to try and use up that time you've got out there. And they've left themselves 9 balls short. And those 9 balls could have brought 6-7 runs, and that could have been the difference.
It could have been.
So just don't throw your wickets away. Don't always think that you've got to play the big shot or take the big risk.
Yeah, I don't think they were all guilty of that. Certainly Mahmudullah was.
Yeah,
and there was also 3 stupid runouts.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's again.
Well, it was after they lost the first wicket, wasn't they? They lost 4 quick wickets or 3 quick wickets of probably Mushfiqur got out quite cheaply, and they kind of lost their way there, didn't they? After those boys in the middle order had scored all the runs previously, the top order scored and the middle order didn't fire.
Well, that is absolutely right. I mean, to win a game, you probably need all parts of your order to be doing a certain amount. And as you say, in previous games, it's been all about the middle order. Today, it was the top order, and then.
Well, it was Lytton Das.
Well, yeah, Lytton Das, basically, and a decent knock from Mahedi Hassan, asked to open for the first time in ODI international cricket. We didn't see that coming either. And then Sumi Osaka got a few at the end as well, didn't he? But
like the fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks. India have won. They've won in Dubai. They've retained the Asia Cup, if you want to say that the T20 version in 2016 was the last one. So yeah, they were the best side in the tournament without a doubt.
Yeah, I think so.
Biggest disappointments, and you have to say Pakistan.
Well, Sri Lanka, I think.
Oh, well, maybe
Sri Lanka were even worse.
Well,
Sri Lanka are in a real hole, aren't they? They've lost all their big boys.
But even so, it's been a long time now. But they've still got players. Angelo Matthews is a quality player.
Yeah, but everything's on his shoulders. I think
they've got decent spinners. They have Malinga back firing. Their middle order was a shambles. I think. Pakistan, I think they had a few players who underperformed. There was a particularly Fakhar Zaman, but they'll be back again, and Mohammad Amir is out of form. But I think India, Afghanistan, and actually even Hong Kong played brilliantly against India.
I mean, you weren't expecting anything of Hong Kong. They took a big beating by Pakistan, ironically, and then came back and gave India a really good game. So. Teams have gained things from this tournament. Some of the lesser lights have gained something from this tournament, but you always felt that India were the team that was going to carry it off, really. Yeah.
Well, what this has done is certainly one of their middle order, in this case Kedar Jadhav, has seen India through, and they've won a final in spite of the top order not I mean, they did. Rohit and Shikhar did okay today, but they didn't dominate in the way that they have throughout the tournament thus far. I think what India have learned from this tournament is that Ravindra Jadeja is still a viable option in limited overs cricket.
Oh, absolutely.
When he's been out of the team for a very long time.
I know. It's a bit odd, really.
Not really. I mean, he had a bad Champions Trophy, and then they brought in the wrist spinners Chahal and Kuldeep, and they've been brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else India have learned, but they've still won the tournament.
Well, they've learned that they're still a very good team. I think that's basically it, really. They've got a lot of talent in all areas. They've got, I think we were talking about the game the other day, they've just got more options with the ball than a lot of the teams have.
Yep.
They can turn to the spinners when they need to.
Not so many options with the bat, to be fair, if you looked at that team the other day.
Yeah, but I think to be honest, I mean, certainly in my opinion, I'd be playing KL Rahul. Even if you're playing him at 3, I would play him at 3 instead of.
Well, I mean, Kohli's going to bat 3 when he comes back in.
Well, of course, then you've got to talk about Kohli coming back in as well. So yes, you're missing Kohli. I would be playing KL Rahul if there is another position available. And when you look at that, that's a daunting top 4 or 5, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are other options. Well, Shreyas Iyer has been in very good form. Rishabh Pant has to might come back into the equation.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, if you're looking ahead to the World Cup, you have to say that India have definitely got to be one of the favourites. People are talking about England, but I would say England, India, Australia have got to get themselves together. But I suppose what will excite us going forward to the World Cup is to see a bit of Afghanistan. We've seen what they can do in this tournament. Yeah. They've got a great spirit in the team, haven't they?
Yeah, whether they'll cope in English conditions.
Well, that's another question.
Well, I mean,
isn't
you
it?
say that English conditions. These aren't green seamers we're talking about. These are
they're
going
it's
to be
still-
hard, fast pitches.
Yes, exactly. So that it comes on, it bounces a little bit more. And they won't have experienced that much of that.
Well, yeah, this is true. I mean, but what they do have is world-class spinners and wicket-taking options.
That's very true. That's very true.
And that can win you a lot of games. And I think Mohammad Shahzad, I'm really excited to watch him play in English conditions and the kind of English ODI conditions we've seen recently.
Well, I wouldn't say I was excited about seeing Mohammad Shahzad. I'm curious to see how he will get on. I think he will find it more difficult with a little bit more pace in the pitches. If teams decide to perhaps put in a slip or two early on in games, if there is a little bit of swing early in games as well, that'll be interesting to see. But I mean, it's certainly an interesting and intriguing prospect, I would say. Anyway, let's call it a day. It's been it's been
great series.
It's been a good series, hasn't it? We were complaining maybe a week and a half ago that there hadn't been the games, the close games that we wanted, but I think we've been rewarded with at least three very close games.
I mean, Afghanistan have had 3 last over finishes.
Yep.
The Hong Kong India game was great, and we were live tweeting that rather than bringing you the coverage, but it was a great game. And then the Bangladesh Pakistan virtual semi-final ended up being a great game, and this one's gone down to the very last ball with a batsman on one leg.
Yeah. So I don't think
Bangladesh tied with.
India tied with Afghanistan. Yeah, one of the 3 last over finishes. We have a few last tweets to get through before we sign off for our coverage of this 2018 Asia Cup, which has been brought to you with the kind assistance of Dow Diagnostics, the full service laboratory in Dubai Healthcare City. Thank you to Dow Diagnostics, and thanks to everyone who's supported us on Patreon and everyone who's commented and left nice messages on Facebook Live and on Twitter. So a message says, your excellent coverage has kept me gripped till 4 a.m. Thanks, guys. Great stuff. Mojo Jojo said just before that last ball, shivering. Smouty says, fantastic coverage. Thank you for covering the Asia Cup. Anna Forsyth says, thrilling into the Asia Cup. Wonderful work from Guerrilla Cricket on comms as always. Got my heart pumping. And Mark, the last word goes to Mark Zip. Thanks for the exciting coverage. Thank you to everyone on Twitter. Thank you to everyone who's found us for this tournament and started following us for this tournament on whatever channel. Please tell your friends about us. We will be, please pay close attention to our Twitter feed. We will be very much in touch with what we're covering next, but we will certainly be covering England's tour of Sri Lanka, and we hope to cover some more stuff from this English winter of cricket.
Yeah, well, I'll just say that the listeners and viewers were piling up on Facebook Cricket Tracker as the game reached its final stages and got very exciting. I did see one particular comment go through which said, boring match. Well, are you being ironic, or are you just wrong?
You don't deserve this.
Anyway, until we think the next time we will be on will be the 10th of October, which will be Sri Lanka against England. in the first of the one-day internationals. Meanwhile, we are looking at other series. We are looking at tie-ups all the time with various people. And so keep an eye, absolutely, on our website and our schedule.
All the information is there.
Information will be there. Of course, things will be tweeted out as well. So, and you can just, well, by a process of Chinese whispers, you can tell people what's going on. But until then, it's goodbye from Dave, who's gone home. It's goodbye from Atif, who's gone home. It's goodbye from Knackle.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from the Bear.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from me, Gorilla Hendo. Until we speak again.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao